Welcome back to Insurance Talk Texas, the show where we break down the coverage that keeps North Texas businesses standing. Now, a couple weeks back, we talked about the business owner's policy, that bundle of general liability and commercial property. And we said something important at the end. We said a BOP will not cover a professional mistake. So today, with the folks at Schell Insurance, we're filling that exact gap.
And this is a big one because it's the coverage that protects you from your own work. We're talking about professional liability insurance, which you've probably also heard called errors and omissions, or just E&O. Same thing, different name.
Okay, so let's make this crystal clear right out of the gate. What's the actual difference between general liability and professional liability? Because I think a lot of business owners assume one policy covers it all.
Here's the simplest way to think about it. General liability covers physical stuff. A client trips in your office. You damage someone's property. That's bodily injury and property damage. Professional liability covers financial harm. It covers a mistake in your advice, your service, or your work that costs a client money.
So the slip and fall versus the bad advice.
Exactly that. And here in Texas, we've got a huge population of the exact people who need this. Real estate agents up in Frisco and Prosper, IT consultants, accountants, financial advisors, architects, engineers, marketing firms. If you give professional advice or deliver a professional service for a living, a client can claim that service caused them financial harm.
Let's get specific. Give me a real North Texas scenario.
Sure. Picture a real estate agent in McKinney. They list a property, and there's a mistake in the listing. The square footage is off. The buyer closes, then finds out the home is smaller than advertised. They sue the agent over the difference. Now, the agent didn't act maliciously. It was an honest error. But the defense costs alone can be staggering. And that's where professional liability steps in.
And that's the part people miss, right? It pays even when you didn't really do anything wrong?
That is such an important point. The coverage responds to the claim, even if the claim is false or frivolous. Legal defense is often the single biggest expense, and a professional liability policy from an agency like Schell Insurance is built to cover those defense costs along with any settlement, up to your policy limits.
Now here's where I really want to slow down, because this is the part that trips up Texas business owners. Professional liability works completely differently from your other policies. Walk us through that.
This is the most important thing in the whole episode, so everybody lean in. Most business insurance is what we call occurrence-based. The policy in force when the incident happened covers you, even if you get sued years later. Professional liability is almost always claims made. That means the policy that's active when the claim is reported is the one that responds.
Okay, so why does that matter so much?
Because of something called the retroactive date. Your policy will only cover work you did on or after that retroactive date. So if you let your coverage lapse, even for a little while, that date can reset, and suddenly years of your past work are completely unprotected.
Whoa, so a coverage gap doesn't just leave you exposed today. It can wipe out protection for everything you did before.
You've got it. And this is so specific to Texas that real estate agents and brokers here are told to keep that same retroactive date even when they switch carriers. This is exactly why you want to work with a local independent agency. The team at Schell Insurance can track that retroactive date for you so you don't accidentally blow it up at renewal.
That's the kind of detail you'd never catch on your own. Let's talk about a related piece. What happens when you retire or close the business?
Great question, and this is where tail coverage comes in. Because it's claims made, if you cancel your policy and a client sues you the next year over old work, you're not covered. Tail coverage, or an extended reporting period, lets you still file claims after the policy ends. If you're a consultant in Plano thinking about retiring, this is a conversation to have with Schell Insurance before you close up shop.
Let me hit a couple of Texas specifics I think folks get wrong. Is E&O actually required by law here?
For most professions, no. Texas does not require real estate agents to carry it, which surprises people. Texas also doesn't require attorneys to carry malpractice insurance. But here's the catch. Law firms set up as a limited liability partnership are required to carry coverage. And even when the law doesn't demand it, your clients will. Big contracts almost always require proof of professional liability before they'll hire you.
So the market requires it even when the state doesn't.
Precisely. And one more Texas advantage worth knowing. Our courts generally interpret unclear policy language in favor of you, the insured. But you don't want to be testing that in a courtroom. You want to have the right policy from the start. And that's the value Schell Insurance brings.
Let's make sure people know what's not covered too.
Right. Professional liability won't cover intentional wrongdoing, fraud, or criminal acts. It also won't cover bodily injury or property damage. That's your general liability. So you really do need both working together, which is exactly the kind of layered protection Schell Insurance helps Texas businesses build.
This has been incredibly clear. If you run any kind of service or advice-based business across Collin or Denton County, this is your sign to make a call. How do folks reach the team?
Pick up the phone and call Schell Insurance at 972-423-4546. That's 972-423-4546. Or hop online and visit SchellInsurance.com. That's SCHELL Insurance.com.
And don't put it off, because remember, with claims-made coverage, the protection has to be in place before the claim shows up. Get that retroactive date locked in now.
Couldn't agree more. Call 972-423-4546 or visit SCHELLinsurance.com. The team at Schell Insurance will walk you through exactly what your profession needs.
That's all for today's episode of Insurance Talk Texas. Protect your work, protect your future, and we'll see you next time.